here we are, and I understand, Mr. Keepance, can I call you Dick?
Yes.
You're the original founder of the Kent Street allotment. Is that right?
Yes.
And I understand it was pretty much you that did it by yourself. Or what do you mean? I mean, you had to approach the government and everything, but could you tell me that story, how it all came into being? When did it start? It was in 1974, is that right?
It started in 1974, and the Ministry of Agriculture, the BC Ministry of Agriculture, hired me to start an allotment garden program. And I got a piece of land directly from the Ministry of Highways, who gave that piece of land to agriculture in February of 1974.
Okay, and it was just a piece of land along the highway. Was it a forest, or at that time?
It was a field.
A field, okay,
It was a field.
A farmer's field.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. And so, what did you do to get it into the state that it's in now? It has to be divided up, I guess. So did you?
Well, it had to be planned out, and the way it was situated, I'd already worked it out that I could get 155 allotment plots on that piece of land. And it took me hiring a contractor to get this land ready for issuing to people to grow their own vegetables.
Okay. And then how did you find all the people? Was there a lot of people on the list there that wanted to do this? Or?
Originally, the list of gardeners was given to me by the mayor of Saanich, who had responded to an article in the Times Colonist written by Hilda and Jacques Beestall.
So there was no other allotment gardens at all in Victoria at that time? Then?
No, there wasn't. Oh, there was down in Victoria some private allotment plots, but very, very small. But I had nothing to do with those private lots in Victoria.
Okay. But I understand not only did you do the Kent Street allotment, but you did a whole bunch of other allotments at the same time.
Well, we finished up with 155 plots on Kent Road, and then I had plots in 4 other sites,
okay,
which I'd come across.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you must have a lot of stories from putting this allotment garden together.
Yeah, well, I had a great deal of help with summer students, and I was allotted by the ministry 6 students each summer, and I still have kept in touch with those, but now they're vague memories, but I still remember each of those 6 students.
Okay. Well, it's a beautiful garden what you did there. It's just wonderful, and you must have put a tremendous amount of work into developing it.
Oh yes.
But so you were an employee of the government at that time, I understand.
Yes, I was. I became a civil service, a civil servant, employed by the Ministry of Agriculture.
Okay. Yeah. Because geez, it sure is popular, and there's big long waiting lists to become a gardener there, and people really want to do. I guess it goes in waves though. Some years there's a lot more people that want it. So when you originally started, how many applicants did you have?
At our first meeting, I allotted 155 plots on Kent Road,
plots. Okay.
and another 30 on private land on Wilkinson Road, land belonging to Mary Noy, who I got to sign a lease for 5 years, and that lease was renewed for a further 5 years when the first one was up.
Okay. Well, you sure did a great job. You must have a lot of memories of all those years that you...
I knew every one of those gardeners.
Okay.
Because they had to pay annually for the plots, and if I remember right, the first rental was for $20. I understand that today, 38 years later, they're going for $60 a year.
It's about $60 a year now. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And that possibly covers the water rates.
It's there's talk that maybe the rates will go up again, but I guess that's just normal. But tell me, you must have a lot of stories from working down in the gardens there. What do you have any particular stories that your other gardeners might find interesting now?
Well, they would be very interested in knowing about Daphne. Daphne was a sandhill crane which descended during the early spring of 1974. She decided she was blown off course, obviously, onto the island, and she finished up on Kent Road Allotment Gardens.
A sandhill crane. I didn't think there was any cranes in British Columbia.
That was the only one, I think.
Okay.
Although I'm sure there's sandhill cranes in other parts of BC.
Okay, but they're very rare.
But they are residents of the prairie provinces, of course.
Okay.
Alberta.
Right. So this sandhill crane, it was there for a while then?
She was there for 6 weeks. And I could get within 20 feet of her before she casually walked away from me.
Okay.
But
so she never really got tamed then?
No.
Okay.
No. And we tried to get it to be returned to Alberta. But when we came to get her on a plane and back to the prairies, she suddenly disappeared.